Hello there, welcome to the last part of 2.2. My name is Gregory Carlson. We're going to now graph this graph right here, and it's kind of difficult. I mean, this is a complicated equation, and so I'm going to show you the steps for solving this. There's very many steps, but they're all pretty straightforward. So here we go. You should recognize this is a circle because we have an x squared and a y squared, and notice that the coefficients are equal. That's a coefficient of 1 and that's a coefficient of 1. Same for this graph over here. So that's how you know this is a circle. And again, we'll talk about more of that in detail in the final chapter, chapter 6. So here's how we graph this. First, move this number over to the other side. So that's easy enough. First, we're just going to subtract the 11 over. And notice I'm writing kind of small. Okay, once we've moved that number over, what we want to do is we want to complete the square. And so we want to try to get it so that it's in this kind of form, x minus or plus something squared, y minus or plus something squared. And you should have learned about this in your previous math class, but just in case you didn't, once we've moved this number here over, let's get our x's together and let's get our y's together. So I can rewrite this as x squared plus 8x plus y squared plus 4y equals negative 11. So all I did there was I just rearranged my terms so that the x's are together and the y's are together. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a process called completing the square. And I'm going to add something to this so that this will factor into a perfect square. Same with the y. And the way you do that is you look at this number right here. You look at the 8 right there. And when you do that, this process is always the same. The magic number for the first part, I'm going to call this the magic number for x. And this part's always the same. You take the number in front of the x, and you do that number divided by 2 squared. And that process is always the same. And I'll show you why that works in class or in a separate video. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. And 4 squared is 16. So that means the magic number that I need to add to here so that this factors is 16. Let's do the same process with the y. Let's find the magic number for y. We're going to look at the 4 right here, and you do the exact same process. 4 divided by 2, quantity squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and that squared is 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 16 and I'm going to add 4 to the equation. So watch. X squared plus 8x plus 16 plus y squared plus 4y plus 4 equals negative 11. So I've added 16 because that was the x magic number, and I've added 4. Now you might notice that I've added some numbers to this side of the equation. So to keep the equation equal, I need to add those same numbers to the other side. So I added 16 and I added 4 to the left, so that means I need to add 16 and 4 to the right as well. So we've just made the equation more complicated. We've just added stuff to the equation, so why on earth would I do that? The reason is because this now factors very, very nicely. In fact, it factors to the following. X plus 4 times x plus 4. Do you see that? If you FOILed this, x squared plus 16, 4x, 4x, you get 8x. In fact, it's even better because you can write it like this. X plus 4 quantity squared. And this part, this y stuff, that's going to be y plus 2 times y plus 2. And you can FOIL that just to check, but that's going to give you y plus 2 quantity squared. And now you see that it's starting to look like the circle equation. Now, in fact, you might notice that when I did this, I did it in 2 steps. I divided and then squared. And that's because this number in the middle step is always going to be the number that you have here or here. So this 4, 2, notice that I have 4 and 2 there. You can figure this out just by factoring it, but it can save you a few seconds if you know that that number here will always be the number here, and that middle step here will always be this number. Next we have negative 11 plus 16 plus 4. 16 plus 4 is 20. 20 take away 11 is 9. So we see here that we have a circle graph, the center of which is negative 4, negative 2. The radius is the square root of 9, which is 3. Fantastic. So that's how you do it. Let's do it one more time with this one. I'm going to go, if you're feeling brave, go ahead and try to do it on your own. There's one little trick to this one, but if you're feeling brave, try this one on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, see if you can get it. All right, hopefully you were able to follow my procedure on the previous side because it's exactly the same. First, we subtract the 11 over. So we get x squared plus y squared. See if I can make this a little more readable. X squared plus y squared plus 2x minus 6y is equal to negative 11. Now we should rearrange this so that the x's are together and the y's are together. So x squared plus 2x plus y squared minus 6y equals negative 11. Don't forget that step. A lot of people mess up because they forget to group their x's and y's. Now let's find the magic number. The magic number for x, I look here. You take that number, divide it by 2, and square it, which is going to equal 1 squared, which equals 1. The magic number for y, that's a negative number, so we divide that by 2 and square it, which is going to equal negative 3 quantity squared, which equals positive 9. So notice that the magic number is always going to be positive because we square it, and that'll always make it positive. So we're going to add the magic number, x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals negative 11. And I've added 1 and added 9 to the left, so I need to add 1 and add 9 to the right to keep the equation equal. So let's simplify the left side. You remember that our middle step is a 1, so this factors into x plus 1 times itself, or x plus 1 squared. The y's are going to factor, and notice we have this negative here. Our middle step right here was actually negative 3. So this was going to be y minus 3 quantity squared. Okay, so that's x plus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared. Notice that if you FOILed this, you'd get y squared, negative 3 times negative 3 is 9, minus 3y minus 3y, which gives you negative 6y. Now we have negative 11 plus 1 plus 9. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 minus 11 is negative 1. So there's our equation of our circle. But we have a problem. This is kind of a trick question because, do you see this amount right here? It's squared, right? So whatever comes out of this is going to be positive. This part is also squared. So this part's also going to be positive. So we have a positive plus a positive. Is that ever going to equal a negative number? No. And so in fact, there are no solutions, no real solutions anyway, to this graph right here. There's no solutions to this graph, and it's kind of, in my opinion, a little bit of a trick question, but you should still be able to recognize this. This is the equation of a circle because there's a positive number here, so that's actually a circle. When you're doing this, if you get a negative number over here, that's no solution. If you were to get a 0, then that means you have exactly one solution. So just for example, I have 30 seconds, so let's look at this one. X plus 1 squared plus y minus 5 squared equals 0. That right here is going to be a point, a circle with radius 0, because there's only one number that'll make this equation be true, and that is if this is 0 and if this is 0. So negative 1 is the x value to make that be 0, and the value for y to make this 0 will be 5. So the only solution to this equation is negative 1, 5. So hopefully seeing me do this procedure twice makes sense for you, how to find the magic number to complete the square to get to the circle form. If it's a positive, that means you get a circle. If it's a negative, that means no solution. And if it equals 0 on the right, then that means you only have 1 point, which is the solution to the equation. That is section 2.2. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And if this video helped you, please like and subscribe. And I will see you next time in section 2.3. See you there.